Lisa, have you ever used GoToMeeting before? Patty, can you? Yeah, it's stuck. Now that
I have not.
so check this out. So now that I'm recording, I can't. You know how you go?
Yeah.
None of that, and then the presenter view pops up.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's totally. And it's all after I hit that. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. If I could figure out how to turn it off. Oh, pause.
4,000 to 5,000 pounds a day.
Wow, that was.
So
I still don't even know what I did.
You're losing money at $9.
Thanks, guys.
Well, they're probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it seems like
They've done that all since Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh, is that why we're still here?
Okay, sorry guys.
2 days?
Yeah.
I don't know what I did, but I just did something. And it's hopefully Neil comes back and Kathy. We lost half the crew. I'm kidding.
She'd rather be here.
Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk about weight management. And when I speak of weight management, it's not necessarily weight loss. Some folks have a hard time gaining weight, and that can also have a connection to the gut. So ultimately, when the whole digestive system is working well, you have an appropriate balance of lean muscle mass to fat mass. You have good, healthy bone structure, plenty of water, and a good amount of subcutaneous fat, and not a whole lot of visceral fat, which is the fat that covers your organs, because that has been known to be disease promoting. The visceral fat is just what's right below your skin right here. Okay, so a damaged gut will lead to nutrient deficiencies, which will lead to malnourishment. So you can be thin or you can be overweight, it doesn't matter, but you can be nutrient or malnourished, either one. So you should never judge a book by its cover to think that, an individual is, overweight or underweight and therefore they're not healthy or unhealthy. There's no way to tell by looking at the outside. So how about we move on to what I just said? You can be either size, and have an inability to maintain the size that you want. So let's talk about some causes of weight imbalance. Anybody here want to gain weight, muscle mass, anything? Yeah, okay. All right. Well, maybe this might inspire you. Okay, so I take it the rest are interested in maybe maintaining or losing? Okay. Okay. All right. Hi, Neil. Glad you're back. Sorry about that.
Refill my water.
Awesome. There you go. That's great. So we just got started. We're talking about weight imbalance. And we were talking about maintaining or losing weight as a goal for this class. So with that in mind, just call out, what are some causes of undesirable weight gain? Fear or beer? Beer, yeah, okay. Fear could be it too. I'm so scared.
Lack of exercise.
Okay, exercise, beer, okay. Anything else? Stress, very good.
Depression.
Depression, Diet, What kind of diet?
Mine.
Fast food diet.
Yeah, no, I don't eat fat. Yeah, but just carbs.
Yeah, carbs.
Carbs.
What's that?
Carbs.
Yeah, hormone issues, thyroid, other hormones, female hormones, right? As we age, things change. Even when we're children, move into preteens, our hormones change. It's definitely.
Yeah, just a general slowing metabolism.
Yep. As we age, we slow down. Yeah, I've noticed that with myself. I don't eat nearly what I did 10 years ago. And I think I probably exercise about the same, maybe not as intense. But I've just adjusted as I age. I adjust the amount of refined carbohydrates that I eat because refined carbohydrates are a great source of energy. And I'm not burning the energy. I'm sitting. I sit all day long, a lot of the time. When I was younger, I was running around doing stuff all over the place. So then I could consume those nutrient-packed grain-based carbohydrates, whether it's corn or wheat or rice, whatever it was, whether it was whole or refined, I could burn it off like that. Things are different now. So I'm adjusting as I go to a more nutrient-dense diet that is more plant-based, a little bit of quality animal proteins, but lots of fat. So I'm eating lots of nuts, avocados. I enjoy olive oil, a really good quality olive oil. You don't need a lot of oil in your diet. So another thing about diet is, remember last week we talked about lectins? Yeah, lectins are the compounds that are found in grains and in seeds that bind to your lining of your intestine, and that can cause weight gain too. So that's why I was showing you the sprouted lentils that we had. Sprouting them reduces the amount of lectins, and sprouting and cooking the sprouted also helps reduce the lectins. For some folks, not all, but some folks, when they consume foods high in lectins, it causes them to gain weight because of their genetic makeup. So that's just one thing to consider. So you may see some sprouted wheat bread out there, they have sprouted, I bought some sprouted quinoa and sprouted brown rice from Thrive Market a while ago, and that's just what they've done. They've already done this for you, and then they've packaged it up, dried it, and sent it to you. So it helps. So if anybody's having an issue with weight gain, maybe it's lectins. So you can do a search on what foods are high in lectins.
Most of the time, when I bought quinoa, it's got a little spiral thing coming out.
Yeah, no, that's just the
not-
way that it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to sprout quinoa on my own. It didn't work. I don't know why. So I just don't do it anymore. It was a mess. They were mushy. It was just a disaster. It didn't work. They didn't sprout for me. I don't know why. Maybe because I bought the sprouted ones and I'm already trying to sprout some. I don't know. Who knows? But I don't think they were sprouted. So here are some things. Overnutrition, as we said, beer. Underactive, yep. Allergies and food sensitivities, right? When we're consuming something that we are allergic to, and the thing is, unless you go to your doctors and pay a few $100s for that allergy, the food allergy test, you'll never know what you're really allergic to unless you do a food mood journal or elimination diet, and you choose one thing and you eliminate it for 30 days, and then you see, oh, okay, I think I was probably allergic to that. It's really the only way you can tell. You can test for it, or you can do it the longer way. You have two options. Medications also can disrupt your gut, which can then cause weight gain. Disturbances in the central nervous system. So let's say you fall on your head, or you maybe have a viral infection to your central nervous system, bacterial infection, something around there can definitely interfere with your weight gain or weight management. A gut infection, dysbiosis, of course, talked about that. Processed foods, thank you, Patty. Biology and genetics. Hi, Kathy. So yeah, your genetics. Some folks just, they have certain genes that just make them, based on their lineage and their heritage, they're just meant to be certain size, and that's okay. You know, we're not all meant to be, you know, little poodles. Some of us are bulldogs. And that's all right. You know, we're all different sizes. So the definition of health is individual to you, but it's how you feel of course, you can go off your biomarkers, your complete blood count, look at your lipid panels and all that stuff too to assess. But we are all not one size. Okay. Toxin buildup, heavy metal exposure to mercury, lead, formaldehyde, whatever's in the environment. When our body takes in these toxins, ideally we package them up into our fat tissue until we can break them down. Our liver takes them from that fat storage and converts them into water-soluble stores and gets it out. But if your liver is overwhelmed with just processing carbohydrates in excess of what we need, those carbohydrates turn to fat and we get fatty liver. We see a lot of children now who have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Anybody heard of that? So it's like alcoholic, the liver disease of alcoholics, but we're seeing them now in children because they're converting all this high fructose corn syrup and everything else that they're eating into fat in their liver. And that's an easy blood test, and you can, at their physical, you can get that tested too. And then hormone imbalances, thyroid, sex hormones. Insulin is a hormone. Insulin is a growth hormone. We need it to grow. Sometimes we're not growing. So whenever we eat carbohydrates, we increase those carbohydrates break down into sugar. That sugar causes a release of insulin from our pancreas, and the insulin will take the sugar wherever it needs to go in the body. If your cells are full and they don't want any, you might have insulin resistance because it's kind of like the neighbor who always wants to bring you, you're new to the neighborhood and they bring over a plate of cookies one day and you say, thank you, okay, great. I put it on the table. The next day they're there with pie and you're like, oh geez, so you put that in the freezer. The next day it's a cake and that goes in the fridge, and pretty soon you're just not going to open the door anymore. You've got resistance to that neighbor. You don't want any more sweets. You're full. You've got everything. Your whole table, your freezer, your fridge is packed. You don't want any, so your body shuts down. So insulin is one of those hormones that can contribute to weight gain because that's what it's designed to do. It's a growth hormone. It's designed to grow. Okay. And here are some of those hormones. Sex hormones, thyroid, insulin. Ghrelin is the hormone that's made in our stomach. I don't know if you remember from class 1. That was our fun fact. Ghrelin is made in the stomach, causes your stomach to growl. Cortisol. Oh, I forgot about cortisol. It's a good thing I have all this stuff listed. Cortisol is your stress hormone. When you are stressed out, you produce cortisol. And you can be stressed in many ways. It's not just emotional stress. It's not just, a tough boss or a lot of pressure at work or a spouse or taking care of a parent. It could be overtraining, working out harder than your body can handle. Things like not getting enough sleep. Maybe you have sleep apnea. That is a stressful event on your body to be without oxygen for periods of time. Certain medications can affect your cortisol level. And caffeine can really affect your cortisol level. So when cortisol is high, you tend to store calories and you're not burning. Because when cortisol is high, you usually have blood sugar being dumped from your liver into your bloodstream. And when there's sugar in your bloodstream, you've got insulin coming in. So you see how stress, because if you're stressed out, let's say there was an event where you needed to run really fast, your body produces adrenaline and cortisol so that you can run or fight or whatever you need to do. So you're not going to necessarily be able to, a lot of things are going to shut down actually, but pretty much I'll keep it real simple. When cortisol is high, blood sugar is usually high. And if you're not burning through that sugar, you're going to store it as fat because insulin is released. Okay? Questions on any of that? No? Okay.
Just comment, it seems counterintuitive that drinking caffeine could lead to weight gain.
I know, because it increases your metabolism, right? And you would think
It's
that,
just a comment, yeah.
yeah, no. But what you're doing is you're also increasing adrenaline, and that also increases cortisol. So you've got this whole maybe a little bit of caffeine, but if you add the caffeine and stressful life events and all these other chemical reactions that go into play, I think you set your body up for um, maybe more of a sympathetic response instead of a parasympathetic where you can break stuff down. You're just not in that mode. I think a little bit of caffeine is good.
There's less caffeine in a shot of espresso than a whole cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
A lot less.
And there's a lot less caffeine in mild roast than in dark roast.
Other way, I thought it was
No, I'm thinking of cancer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's more in the blonde one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The less they roast it.
Dark roast has less caffeine.
Right. I was thinking, I just heard this the other day. Dark roast has more carcinogenic effects because it's been roasting longer, like than the green, right? So, I don't know. Do you want cancer, or do you want to be like
or obesity?
Would that be the same with tea? Black tea would have more caffeine
than green? I think green has more, black has less, white has
black has less caffeine.
right. Anybody heard anything different?
Well, are they different? It's not a preparation. They're different plants.
Fermentation. I think it's the fermentation. I think it's the same. Well, there could be, of course, different plants that you ferment, but I think that's what tea is. It's being fermented.
See, now I can drink hot tea. I cannot drink iced tea of any type. It will make me sick. So you just said, is that fermentation?
I have no, that's interesting. And it could be in the processing of iced tea. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if you made your hot tea, cooled it down, and then had it the next day. Because if not, and you're buying it, then it's something in the processing. No.
You're not supposed to drink green tea either on an empty stomach, though, right? There's kind of like a reaction in your stomach, supposedly, that just makes you nauseous.
I have not heard that, but that's possible. Anybody want to try? First thing in the morning, drink some green tea. And it could be the tannins involved. It could be all the other compounds, the polyphenols or something. But I think coffee has far more of all of that than the green tea. But maybe there's something else in the green tea. I just can't think of it right now. Yeah. Add sugar. Just kidding. All right, so this study here shows that just basically that the gut microbiota, which are the individual gut bacteria, play a role in obesity and insulin resistance. And if anybody wants to see my references, well, all of this stuff is posted, and then you can just skip to the end where all the references are listed. But if I post the journal article here, then I haven't listed the references. Gut microbiota play a significant role in the development of obesity, obesity-associated inflammation, and insulin resistance. So that's basically what they showed. So some causes. So here's our friend, Dr. Mark Hyman. Food allergies. You can have an allergy to a food. Who knows what it is? And if you have stubborn weight gain and you're not able to, no matter how much you've, exercised or slept or whatever, it could be something that you're allergic to, that you're eating on a regular basis that is causing inflammation in your body. So when you eat a bad diet, bad bugs flourish, your whole gut ecosystem is upset, and the outside world leaks across the damaged gut lining, the leaky gut. The Dorito effect, has anybody heard of this book? I'm not going to play the clip because we don't have time, but essentially what the author of this book has found out was that, and this is nothing new, but the reason why you can't eat just one is because of all of the chemicals involved. They are a lot of fast foods and chips are scientifically, anything made in a factory is scientifically engineered to get you hooked. That's how they keep their doors open and the lights on. So just think twice when you reach for anything with a crinkly package and a barcode, there is a very well-paid scientist behind it, getting you hooked between the combinations of sugar, salt, and fat. And this is just a clip from, he was on the news talking about it. All right, artificial sweeteners can alter the gut microbiota. So anybody who thinks that they're eating, you know, diet, whatever, it's not going to cause any weight gain. In fact, some studies show that it's not going to cause weight loss, it's going to cause weight gain because it interferes with the sugar sensors in your brain. So this shows that consumption is considered safe and beneficial owing to their low caloric content, yet supporting scientific data remains sparse and controversial. Here we demonstrate that consumption of commonly used what is the N? Artificial sweeteners, thank you. Formulation drives the development of glucose intolerance through the induction of compositional and functional alterations in the intestinal microbiota. So basically, fake sugars, your sweet and low, your equal, Splenda even, all of those, not stevia though, interfere with the microbiota, and the microbiota influence weight gain. And metabolic derangement from more artificial sweeteners. Frequent consumption of these sugars, these sugar substitutes may also be at increased risk of excessive weight gain, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, blah, 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 blah. All right, daily consumption of soft drinks and vascular events, just basically you're not doing your cardiovascular system any benefits from consuming diet soft drinks. Remedies. All right, so what can we do if we have unwanted weight gain? We can investigate the root causes. Hey! That can be, for some, a comprehensive stool analysis because that'll tell you what's going on inside and then you can address it from there. If there's something that you are allergic to, you can also do the allergy testing. But there are questionnaires that are available that can help kind of narrow things down of what you might be allergic to. Or you can just start with a whole foods diet. That's probably the cheapest and fastest and quickest you could start today, with just removing all of the processed foods from your diet. At least give it a try for 30 days and see what happens. And then you can write down your experiences, how you physically feel, how you emotionally feel, how it affects you mentally. Are you able to think clearer? Do you have more energy? Are you able to form memories and recall memories faster? An elimination diet, we talked about that a little bit last week, but you can always Google elimination diets and they can give you a list. There are varying degrees of elimination diet. There's the Whole30, which is an interesting plan that's out there. Anybody can get that book or sign up to that website and follow along, join a group, and then you, together as a group, start eliminating foods and talking about how you feel. So time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting. Has anybody heard of that? No. Okay. Just here. Yeah, they include it in there. So, okay, time-restricted eating means I'm just going to restrict my eating to a specific time. And it's usually in the middle of the day. So ideally, you do not want to be on a low-calorie diet. So you have to try to consume, let's say you eat 1,500, 1,800, 2,000 calories a day. That needs to be consumed within an 8-hour window because the rest of the day you're not eating. So let's say you stop eating at 4 o'clock at night. No, it's a little early. Let's say you stop eating at 8 o'clock at night. The bare minimum is 12 hours. So that would be 8 o'clock in the morning. Then you can have your coffee. So coffee counts, so you can't even have coffee. But if you want to increase it beyond 12 hours, say 14 hours, then your first meal, you can drink water, that's fine. But your first consumption of tea or alcohol or breakfast or whatever would be around 10 o'clock in the morning. But ideally, you want to give your body 12 hours so that your immune system can start cleaning house and correcting any DNA that had gone awry. It's a cancer promotion enhancement feature, time restricted eating. And then intermittent fasting is, say, maybe one day you fast 24 hours. If you are going to do that, I would suggest drink lots of water, maybe take a mineral supplement, maybe a multivitamin too. But you must, maybe bone broth if you want to sip on something, good quality bone broth, which you can make yourself, would be good for the intermittent fasting. So it's just basically both of those are giving your body a break, and it improves insulin sensitivity. When you give your body a break, you're allowing all the cells, all the nutrients and defunct DNA and everything that's going on in every single cell of your body, you're allowing your immune system to correct what's going on in there. And when there isn't food coming into the cell will start to eat away at bacteria and viruses. It's called autophagy. And it will also, if there's any cells that if there are any cells that need to be removed from your body, it will do that. It's called apoptosis, and those cells just kind of commit suicide. But they can't do that if you're constantly bringing in all of these calories all day long, because you need to digest and detoxify all of these foods that you are bringing in. And I think if you have a good foundation of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants in your body already, then you can go ahead and do something like this, because your body has the stores of what it needs. Okay. Questions on that? A cleanse could be that intermittent fasting part where you're consuming a mineral broth or a bone broth, lots of water, and you're just not eating for, say, 24 hours. You can do that maybe one day a week, one day a month, whatever works for you. No, I don't. No. Yeah, that's just marketing. And also you can use a food journal to help with weight issues or whatever. Start documenting things. So we talked about ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, and time-restricted eating. Basically, when you're going ketogenic, it's high fat, good quality fats. And again, it's going to be the ratios. You're not eating tubs and tubs of butter, but fat, fiber, non-starchy vegetables, and a moderate amount of protein. So you're not eating tons and tons of protein either. And here we have our time-restricted eating and our intermittent fasting. And then I thought this was cute. I'll have a garden salad, please. We'll have a cheeseburger and fries. And what this is saying is that our bacteria influence our behaviors and our cravings. So if you do start to go through a cleanse, let's say you have some dysbiosis and you are going through a program where you are detoxifying, those little buggers are going to convince you to eat sugar. They're going to control and really, because they're dying and they don't live off of coconut oil. They can't live off of healthy fats and nuts and so forth. They want the quick carbs fast so they can grow. So anyhow, just when you go through a program, a detox program, they're going to try to trick you. So ideally 30 grams of fiber a day is what we need to feed the good bacteria, because the good bacteria will fight the bad. And this is an example of what, around 30 grams of fiber a day. It's pretty much a pretty big plant-based diet. And again, you can see all this later. Lots of water. Do not do a low-calorie diet. You need to go through a toxin elimination. And again, reduce stimulants and depressants, so that's beer and coffee. All right. Right. Exactly. You got the uppers and the downers. All right. So Michael Pollan, our friend here professor in Berkeley, states eat real food, not too much, mostly plants. I kind of like that. Again, fiber. Try to do 6 vegetables and 2 fruits a day. That will increase the microbiota diversity. Again, high quality fats and proteins. And just stuff like this. This is just, there's a moderate amount of protein here. Shredded chicken, but it's a salad here, and some high fiber beans right there. And there's some fat right there that's full fat cream. And our friend sauerkraut. Lifestyle interventions are, you got to move daily, you got to get the blood flowing, and I'm not talking about CrossFit or anything crazy, but a good hour walk, maybe if you have a hill, walk up that hill, and be mindful of what you're eating and not just eat randomly. If you're stressed and you need to chomp on some nuts, that's okay, but acknowledge the fact that I'm really stressed out and I am using this food. This is my coping mechanism because XYZ person is really stressing me out. But you can't change that what you don't acknowledge. So at least first step is to acknowledge what you're doing, because we don't necessarily want to use food or drink or alcohol or whatever to get through something, right? We want to journal about it, talk about it, work it out, whatever we need to do to work out the problem. Go for a walk maybe, something else other than using food or beverages for that. And you can do, for the parasympathetic nervous system activation, you can do meditation, you can do deep breathing if you're stressed out. There are many things that you can do because the sympathetic nervous system engages our rest and digest. So we can't digest if we're stressed out. That's why you should never really eat if you're in traffic or stressed out or listening to very obnoxious music or whatever. It's just not a good idea. Because when you're stressed, the last thing your body wants is to digest. It doesn't want to digest and it doesn't want to procreate. So you're not going to do either one of those if you're stressed out. And you have to sleep. It is absolutely super important because when we sleep at night, we are allowing, of course, our immune system to do what it needs to do. But that deep sleep is what starts breaking down all of the fat that we don't need. If you're not getting enough sleep, then you'll never really lose the weight that you want, especially abdominally, because you're producing all that cortisol because you're not getting enough sleep. And it has to be good quality sleep. So if you have sleep apnea or something like that, or disturbed if you have a young baby and you're not getting sleep, sometimes, that can lead to an accumulation of weight gain. All right, so we are all finished. Session wrap up. Questions? Thoughts? Clarifications?
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
This is a true story actually about my father-in-law. John was talking about 2 years ago in Florida, and I thought that people had not been seeing him yet. He gained a lot of weight. And he was going to 8 different doctors, had 24 different medications, all competing things he was taking all this time. And couldn't walk, couldn't breathe, couldn't do anything. So he's gone to a nutritionist. So he's paid a lot of money to do this. But bottom line is now he's down to 4 medications. He's lost 100 pounds. And he did that through journaling, writing down all the food he had to eat, all things like that. He's like, and now he was clinically depressed before he was dying. He's not depressed anymore. He actually talked to like 20 years ago. So this stuff actually works, and it was all food because he used to live on Diet Pepsi because it wasn't happening. Well, of course it is. So all those things, so it's healthy, good food. And he can eat good food, but he's lost the weight and he can walk and do things. So in fact, he's a case study. He's a public center. I have it. Something so that living proof that this stuff actually works, and it saved his life. That's what he did.
That's a fabulous one. I can't wait to see it if I don't get it in my inbox.
I know. I tried to send it twice. I know I did. But anyway, I have it. So
Yeah.
I'll print it out.
That would be right. But I'd like to have the electronic version
Sure, no.
I would like
I don't know why it didn't go through.
Sometimes our firewall.
Yeah, maybe.
Hold on. Did you have something to share, Patty? Did you have a story? No? Sharon, do you have some samples you'd like to share with us?
Well, Kathy recommended this.
What is it?
It's for acid reflux, okay, or and other things, I guess. But it's called reflex relief.
Mm-hmm.
You don't swallow them. You don't swallow them. You just let them
dissolve naturally under your tongue.
Yeah. And they kind of bigger bottle. This is just what I found at Whole Foods.
It's
but,
herbal. It's herbal relief.
Yeah, it's herbal
Herbs
relief.
and relief.
Yeah, and Kathy's the one that actually found this. I was trying other things, which, were not. They were all capsules, and it seemed like they were all big capsules. And then all of a sudden she came up with this, which works really well.
It's one of those as you get older things, and things don't work as they should anymore. You get heartburn. So
Yeah,
remember it when the time comes.
Yeah.
Remember it.
I had an endoscopy just recently, and so the reason I've been trying to work on this is I don't want to take the medication that was prescribed because you'll end up taking it for the rest of your life. So what I was trying, but I do have the acid reflux, which is damaging the esophagus, which is what it does. But anyway, so I'm trying to do it early instead of taking Zantac.
All of those next to you, and everything you see on
That
television
stuff on TV. Yeah.
for heartburn.
Yeah. The minute I picked up the prescription at the drugstore, I didn't want to do this. So that's why I'm trying to do that. Also, you were talking about bitters. I know you have something that has bitters combined in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the liquid bitters, like you put in your water.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could.
I have the liquid ones too. I have both.
Oh, you do both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, you put drops of it, and it's for digestion also.
Like a digestive.
Exactly.
But this stuff is great. This is, Kathy said, you said somebody recommended this to you.
At Harvest House.
Yeah.
The gal over there.
Yeah. And one of the things I was taking was from there, but it was big, huge tablets. And,
I went through over the weekend and got some of these capsules that have milk thistle and some of the things in there. And she recommended it to me. We went through stuff and it's feel for one morning, one night. It seems to be helpful.
Yeah, the ladies over at Harvest House are very knowledgeable. Yeah.
She recommended for me digestive enzymes as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got those too.
We have one of products by Dr. Grundy.
I think he's the one who has that video that Sharon watched about
Gandhi.
about the lectins.
G-N-D-Y.
Yeah.
He's got this hour-long video about lectins causing weight gain. How are they working for you?
I not taking them.
They're for your wife?
I could if I wanted to. I just haven't.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see what it does.
There's a lot on the internet about the products that Gandhi sells.
Yeah. I'm always suspicious of someone whose main focus is on marketing products. Even if they're
I mean, all these things are being marketed somewhere or some
Everybody
way.
tells you what they're selling is good for you,
Yeah.
no matter what it is.
Exactly.
Yes. But sometimes it is good for you.
Now since I've taken your class, I watch all the ads on television, and everybody says this is going to work and this is going to work. And it's good for you. Everything's good for you.
Have you noticed, like, the evening news? I always record the news and, I end up watching it later. And the national news. And it's like 75% of all the ads are to do with medication.
Yep.
Yes.
Direct-to-consumer
They
marketing.
don't even tell you necessarily what they're all for.
No, but you have to have it.
Yeah.
Go to your doctor now.
Tell your doctor, yeah.
Tell your doctor.
Tell them all the side effects where you're going to be.
And your doctor's like, oh God, this again.
Too late.
Yeah, dry eyes. I'll deal with dry
I know.
eyes because the choice is gas, liver,
Right.
Yeah.
Grow a third arm, whatever, but my eyes are dry.
But I think that's what made me not want to take that medicine when it was prescribed. Here I went to the hospital. I had to test a whole bit, and then here I'm going. No, I don't want to take
Thank you for the diagnosis, but I'll find my own treatment.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I have a whole prescription sitting there, and I'm trying all these things.
And ideally, the digestive bitters and the hydrochloric acid and the digestive enzymes will help your organs liven up and heal themselves and create more as well.
Well, yeah, because now Kathy said she's gotten to the point where you don't have to use these all the time, right?
No.
So it actually fixed the problem.
Well, it didn't fix it.
It puts your body in the right environment so your body can fix itself.
Tones it down, and then if you're stupid and you eat spicy foods again, it reminds you that it's still there.
Yeah. In no way. You're
No,
managing
you
it.
suppressed it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's good
Are you aware of studies about particularly the microbiota and the leaky gut being more prevalent in the United States than in the rest of the world, which wouldn't surprise me? Or our high stress
Westernized countries.
Westernized.
Yeah, those who eat, a lot of. When we brought our Pizza Hut and Taco Bell and whatever over
Kentucky
to other, right, Kentucky Fried, that's all over there in Asia, parts of Europe where they never had issues before. Yeah, they're seeing the same problems we are, mental health issues, all of that.
But they think it's more related to the diet than they're foolishly adopting our stressful lifestyle.
Some of them are not adopting our stressful lifestyle. They have the same, yeah. And then you have, of course, the blue zones, those countries where people have their traditional diets and their community connectedness, where they're feeling a sense of purpose, and they exercise a lot, they bike everywhere, they eat food fresh from the ocean or whatever, and they're socializing more. They're not by themselves in front of the TV just eating, and they're out there. They're doing what they're doing, and they're not looking at a cell phone, and they're not being bombarded with noise, all this electronic, they're just living life, the way it is. And your body will take care of itself. Your body will be what it's meant to be once it's put in the right environment. You can do that. So, I had a couple examples of tips for snacky ideas. So here's an example of two ideas. Here we have our friends the Cliff Bar, which I found in the break room. And then we have something like a Lara Bar. Does anybody know the difference between the two? Uh-huh.
And there's only a few ingredients in the Lara Bar. Yeah. Like 4 or 5.
Exactly, yeah.
Colorado versus Brooklyn.
That's a good one. I didn't know.
I think those were in the break room a week or two ago, and I picked up a Cliff Bar and I ate it. Like, it was so sugar. I got twitchy.
That's just we have it left over.
Yeah, it tasted good, but it tasted like this chocolate macadamia.
Well, the Lara bars are delicious too.
Yeah, because it's just nuts. So this one is dates, and that's your sweet part. Almonds, apples, walnuts, and raisins and cinnamon.
Because I've had Lara bars like on hikes or long paddles when I'm just,
yeah, and there's more
quick energy.
So this is 25 grams of carbohydrate. This is 41 grams of carbohydrate. But what you really need to look at are what? What do we really need to look at?
Sugar, sodium.
Anybody want to guess how many grams of sugar in this one?
25.
23. No, 22.
Is that added sugar or total?
It's an added sugar because the first ingredient is organic corn, rice syrup, whatever. This one has 18 grams of sugar, but it says it clearly states 0 added sugar. They didn't take a refined carbohydrate and add it to it. It's just the dates.
The dates have got the sugar.
Yeah, the dates have the sugar in it. So another important thing, so we've talked about sugars. What's the other one important ingredient that will have an impact on blood sugar levels and how you go up and how you crash?
Fiber.
Yeah, fiber. Anybody want to guess how much fiber is in the Cliff Bar?
Not very much.
Wow, You're going to be surprised. Dietary fiber is 4 grams of fiber.
Wow.
Wow.
That's not very much.
No. And
No, but you're supposed anything like bread. It's always supposed to be over 3.
so maybe this is their
Yeah.
but it's 4 grams.
But you take, don't you take the carbs and you subtract the fiber
to get your net.
and your net is like for diabetes is what you're always looking at is your net.
Yep, exactly. And this is only 45 grams of food, and this is 68 grams. So you're getting more here. So just some things to think about. I mean, they're both a processed food, right? They both come in a clean food package, and they both have a barcode. But the ingredients here are foods. They're not whole because they smashed them up into a puree. They pureed them. And this one, if you just look at the ingredients, it goes on and on and on. I didn't sit here and read it all, but they have a lot of preservatives and so on and so forth. All right.
Why do you think they think that the bars are so good for you?
Who thinks?
Marketing.
Oh, because this guy. This guy looks very healthy. See, this guy should not be eating a Cliff Bar because he is going to get that sugar rush and then he's going to just tank. What he needs is a fat drop.
Sharon, it was like the Marlboro Man. Everyone wanted to be him.
Even when you were
him.
pregnant.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, come on, I smoked Camels.
Oh, okay. You want to ride the camel. Be the camel.
The cool camel.
Right, Joe Cool.
Yeah, Joe Cool.
So that is
Yeah,
our
marketing.
4-part series on the gut health connection. I have a survey if I could ask you guys to, if you have to go, if you could just fill it out and put it in my mailbox or on my desk, that would be great. Want to take one and pass it around? That would be great. If anybody's interested in testing their stomach acid, you can do that experiment.
Yeah.
Take this. Any comments?
Any excuse to belch in public.
Right?
You'd be like,
When I did it, it was a little baby bird.
I think not.
You want to?
I'll take it up to
You
you.
want to give it to me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you, Veronica.
Right, yeah, I don't know.
And thank whoever approved
Yeah.
this too.
The director's group. So.
You're welcome.
Well, you know,
We
It was actually, Holly actually was. Not that anybody was against it.
Because of the
She's probably just didn't really give it a thought.
Thank you. Thanks, Veronica.
Sure.
I